Hi there, it's Martha, and today I have a little bit of a different video. I have a spreadsheet tracker that I'm going to share with you. And when I say share with you, like literally, in the description box below, there is a link to basically like a version or a copy of what I use for you to use for however you'd like to use it if you want to. You'll just have to make a copy of the link below. And I'm also adding my Instagram handle in case you have any questions after you're watching this video and kind of playing around in the spreadsheet yourself. So this all came about because in the fall winter Scentsy Club edit video that I made in February, during that video, you saw me, if you watched that video, you saw me click into a spreadsheet so I can see how many of a particular bar I had. And I think in that moment I said, if anyone's interested in seeing it, let me know. And Linda H. responded and she said, I'd love to see it if you want to share it on how you use your spreadsheet. And I said, sure. So that's the genesis of this video. And so what I love about having a spreadsheet is that it really, I'm a visual person, so it gives me a really good grasp of like in totality, everything that I have. Even when I have it locked away in a drawer or in another room, a little bit of, when there's out of sight, out of mind, you may not realize like how much you actually have. And so it's a way for me to like, when I really want to buy more, I kind of go look and I go, you have 100 bars, like you don't need any more. So it's a way for me to check myself. So this spreadsheet, what it does is it gives me a number of things. It has a place for me to show everything that I have. I can quickly see how much of something I have, or if I've run out of something, or I want to order something. There's scent ratings on there, so I can rate my bars. So decide whether I want to repurchase something or how much I love something or not. I also keep the scent notes in there. And that's just for when I'm making videos like this. I can make labels and share the scent notes. And so I'll walk you through the entire spreadsheet. You don't need to be super proficient in Excel or Google Sheets is what I'm using. I'm not. I used to be like 15 years ago, but I forgot quite a bit. So this is really like level 1, level 2. And I will walk you through the spreadsheet. I will also show you where you can see the formulas. If you choose to expand on this or make changes to it, you can see, what I've done, and it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So I hope you enjoy this video. And again, if you have any questions, just leave questions in the comments. I have my Instagram handle in the description box as well. If you want to direct message me, that's also an option with any questions. And otherwise, you'll find the link to the spreadsheet below. And I'm going to go behind the camera now and show you the spreadsheet and walk you through the rows and columns. All right, I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. Okay, when you click the link to the spreadsheet, you're going to come here and you're going to see the spreadsheet. And the very first thing you're going to want to do is go to File and make a copy. If you don't do this, you're not going to be able to do anything. So you want to make your own copy. This is just a template I created so that you all can make copies and do what you want with them, but you're going to have to make a copy. So that's the first thing that you're going to want to do. And then when you make a copy, it'll basically say copy of template of home fragrances inventory. You can change the name of this to whatever, be Scentsy inventory, it could be Scentsy collection, it could be wax collection, whatever you want. You would just click in there and be able to make those changes. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through the columns first, and then in kind of the second part of the video, I'll get a little more technical if you want to see what's behind some of these formulas, or if you want to continue to add to this template going forward, like you want to add more months, or you want to, of course, you're going to want to add bars in here. That's the whole point. So I'll show you how to do that so that everything's working, especially all the formulas. So let's start off with column A. Column A, I have vendor or company. If you are only using this for Scentsy, you probably don't need this. But if you are like me that buys from other wax companies, I did create a drop-down menu just so you don't have to retype it all the time. I do like drop-downs, especially so I don't have to retype things. If, let's say, you do buy vendor wax and you do buy from something or someone or a company that's not listed here, it's really easy to add another vendor. You would just go to this pencil, go edit, and you're going to get the screen over here on the right, and you just do add another item. So let's say, I think there's a company called The Good Smell, I think, The Good Smell Shop. So I could do that if I wanted to add another one. It's as simple as doing that, and then you hit done, and then you're going to want to say, yes, apply to all, and you're going to do that. And then you're going to see here that there it is. So it's really easy to add others if you want to do that. If you want to take some of this out, like you never buy from Fantasy Wax or The Good Shop, it's just as easy to do that too. You go to edit, and then you just use the garbage can, and you could just take it out and then hit done. And then you want to apply to all, and you'll notice there that it's gone. So if you're only using it for Scentsy, then I would just say you can hide this row or delete it. So column B, this is where I listed currently offered, like currently as the time of this recording, which is March 16th, bars. And I basically just took this from my spreadsheet. So I didn't add all these in myself. I just made a copy of my spreadsheet and enhanced it. So these are all current bars. Then we have current quantity, and this is based on a formula. So this is not where I would go in and just, let's say you had 2 blackberry vanillas and type in the number 2. If you do that, you're going to kind of mess up this formula, and I'll show you where these numbers come from. But that's where current quantity is, and this is how I'm tracking how much of each bar I have. Then in column D, we have size. You may or may not want this. So again, you can hide it or delete it if you want, but I have bar and brick because I have I have a brick of jammy time. So I just want to know what it is. And then column E, this is something that I added for this spreadsheet that I don't have in mind, but it's repurchase. Would I repurchase this bar? Actually, I would not repurchase banana leaf and bamboo, but you have a drop down of yes or no. And then I also made no red just so I can easily spot it. So that not all the text in here is black. So you can use this, or if you don't want to use it, again, hide and delete anything you want. Then for myself, I like to know what the scent notes are and how I get this without, sometimes I'll type it up, but a lot of times I'll go into the Scentsy website, especially if it's a currently offered bar, and I'll just take their notes and copy it from the website and then I'll paste it in here. So I'm not retyping it. A lot of times the font and stuff will look different. So I just make sure that I make it all consistent by using the paint format button. And I'll show you how to do that, so don't worry. But that is where I have the scent notes. And then I have ratings over here. And ratings are on a star system. So basically 5 stars to 1 star, 5 star being the best. So you may think that maybe if you have a high rating system, it's redundant and you don't need this repurchase or you don't need the rating. I like having both because if it's a yes, is it like a strong yes? Or is it like, yeah, I like it, but it's not like a 5 star for me. Maybe it's a 3 star. So it's up to you, but I just wanted to give you options. Then we're going to go into the months. So I did start from March. So I know we're in the middle of March, but the new catalog just came out. So maybe it's still a good time to go in and add what you've purchased in the month of March. If you do want to go back and add other bars that you purchased before March, I would still basically make this your starting month. So instead of it being March, maybe it's just your starting month of when you're starting to track things. Up to you. It could, depending on how many bars you have, that could be a lot of time and a lot of work. But if you really like this idea of keeping everything in a spreadsheet, that's up to you. Or you could just start fresh from now. And like whatever you have in the past is the past. And you're just starting fresh from now. That would be my recommendation. Otherwise, you might be overwhelmed and give up on this. So here's March, or the first month. Then your March outs. And this to me means what is no longer in your inventory. So either you gave it away, you warmed it, you destashed it, whatever. It's just no longer in your inventory. And then it just goes all the way. I have it set all the way till I think February. So it's a full year basically. And it's done really from kind of the start and end of the catalogs. You'll also notice that I have them color coded. So all your ins are in green, all your outs are in white. You can change colors if you don't like my colors. And that's why you want to make your own copy. You can do what you want with it. That way it's just, I just know if I'm putting it, I'll know. It's one way of me visually seeing that I'm putting it in the right column. And you'll see that. Now you can see that this is frozen over here and I keep moving things out. The reason this is over here is because I did freeze it. So there's this window pane basically that's running down here, because personally I like to keep this here. So when I am, for example, adding something in May, I can move this, and I can also see that this belongs to black raspberry vanilla. If I didn't have this frozen, this would eventually kind of disappear as I'm scrolling to the right. So this is frozen, and that's just the way I wanted to do it. And the same thing with the top. I have the top kind of title bar also frozen. So when you go down, this will always be up there. So that's the way I set it up. Okay, so now let's go to my formulas here. And so if you look at this, I said don't add, or I don't know if I said it or not. I've already forgot what I've said. I didn't go in here and just put in, let's say if I had 2 clementine cupcakes, I didn't just type in the number 2 in here, because this is based on a formula based on all of this. So let's start with, for example, let's say I had 2 blue grottos. So I'm going to put a 2 in the or my starting month, and you're going to see that this automatically updated. Let's just say and you'll also see it updated here, and I'll tell you what these are in a second. Then let's just say I warmed one of the blue grottos in March, and so now I have 1 left. So this is automatically updating depending on what is in here, what's in your ins and your outs. So up here on top, row 3, where you see this 2, 1, 0, 0. This is basically a formula that's saying starting from H4, which is this cell right here, I want a sum of everything in this column. And that's basically what it's doing. So if I have, let's say 1 coconut lemongrass, it's totaling everything I have here. So it's showing that I have 3 bars in my inventory, 2 of which is blue grotto, 1 of which is coconut lemongrass, and you'll see that it's also been updated here. What's happening here is the same thing. This column I, these are just taking the sum of everything going down that column. So now I added an out for coconut lemongrass. So I've used up 2 bars, and you'll see that here I used it, or 2 bars went out in March, 3 bars came in, 2 bars went out. So that means I have 1 bar in my inventory. So this is what this row 2 is doing, is basically this is your running total of how many bars you have on hand. Not month specific, but just how much you have on hand. So let's play here. Let's just say I have one. A lot of mine are just like 1 of things, but sometimes people buy like a 6-pack of something. Let's say you like mango margarita and you have 5. So you're seeing what's happening here at the top. Let's say, oh, you know what? And I apologize. I see pink cotton here, and I think this is not a current product. I should probably just delete that. I'll leave it in there, but sorry, that's not a current one. I think it's just something I had in my inventory from a flash sale. But let's just say I have that. All right, so you're going to see that now it's total that I have 37 bars that I've brought into March, and I've only warmed, let's just say I warmed 1 of a few of these. Maybe I warmed all my Luna and I'm out. Let's say I have warm 2, the mango margaritas. Okay, so what this is showing me here is that in the end of March, I only warmed or got rid of 7 bars. So I started with 37 in. I've only used 7. 7 have gone out, which means I still have 30 left in my inventory. And that's what this is doing. So I hope that makes sense. And it's just going to keep doing that. Let's say now we're in April and I bought a, let's see here. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's say I got 2 of this and I got to make a splash and I got, let's see, yeah, I have a few actually old ones here from Bring Back My Bar. Sorry about that, but I'm not going to take anything out in case you happen to have it. You already have a starting point. And let's say in April, I'm good and I only buy 5 bars. So, but, you know, I haven't, let's see, I melted 1. And so you're going to see this running total up here. All right, I hope that makes sense. So now let's just say, and actually let me go get my catalog. Now let's add a bar. So let's say, well, 1, you can delete all of these if you don't have any of them. But let's say I want to add, I'm going to do Berry Bright. Let's say I don't think I have one. I like to keep these alphabetical, so I just do that. So Berry Bright would be between banana and black raspberry vanilla. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on the row and I'm going to do insert row above. And so now it's created a row above so I can put in Berry Bright. And my drop down's still working. All of this is still working. The only thing that is not working when I do that is this row or this cell, I should say, is blank. So if I were to say, okay, I bought 3 Berry Brights, nothing is happening over here. And you're going to be like, uh-oh, what am I supposed to do? So all you have to do is basically go either above or below where that formula exists. I'm going to go above and I'm going to take that corner of that cell and I'm just going to drag it down with my mouse. And now it showed up. I put 3, there's my 3. That's the only thing you need to do when you're adding new rows is just make sure you copy that formula by dragging it to the new cell. So, and if you know all this stuff, you could probably skip at this point, but I'm just making sure if you're not familiar with spreadsheets or you don't know what I'm doing, that this is kind of a tutorial. So that is what you would need to do for Berry Bright. Everything else is already there, and that's fantastic. Now, I will say, and if you want, you can fill out the scent notes. If you have your catalog with you, you can do that. It's basically blue raspberry, clementine, and sugar plum, and I would just type it in there. Or I would go to the Scentsy website and copy and paste. Let's see what else. Okay, now here's something. If, I'm going to just basically delete this just for me. If, let's say, you're adding a scent that would be like appealing apple or something that starts with an A, because if you're going to do it like me that does it alphabetically, you're going to want to add a row above banana leaf and bamboo. There's 2 different ways to do it, but let me see if this one way works. I could do this, but I think this is too many steps. I'm gonna show you maybe a slightly more complicated way, but it's simpler, if that makes sense. So what I would do is basically insert a row above because I want it to be A, and I'm gonna put in here like appealing apple. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to pull up that cell or that formula up here and copy it. So that's great. So if I were to put in 1 bar, you would see that it works. But what's happened here is when I put in that 1 bar, if you're looking at column H, let's say I bought 1 appealing apple, you're going to notice that my 37 did not change. And the reason it didn't change is because I just created a brand new cell or a brand new row. Similar to when we had to do this, you're going to have to make an adjustment to the formula up here. If you look now, it's pulling it from starting from H5, which is actually, again, that bamboo leaf and banana leaf and bamboo, which was that first row. So it's not capturing this cell. And if I double click on here, you will see that it's skipping this one because I don't have it. So you just want to move either the cells up, or you can just type in here, make sure it captures the 4, and now you'll see that that 1 is highlighted, and that's all you have to do is just make sure that your formula is picking up everything in the row, and that's all you have to do. But all of these are now starting with row 5 and not row 4. So you can do the same thing. You can either click on this and do H4 and make sure, or I4, sorry, in this case. And now if I were to take 1 out of peeling apple, it's computing correctly. And that's how you can double check. But it's like, well, I don't want to have to click through each one. So what you could do is then make sure that your April in is going to have the same formula as March in, same with May in, same with June in. Your March out is going to have a different formula for March in, but it's going to match the formula for all your outs. So what you can do is just copy this formula because you've already fixed it. It's starting from row 4. So you can copy it and just do, I use a Mac, so it's a Command C is what I use. But if you have a PC, it would be Control C. So I'm going to do Command C, and then I'm going to take it to my next in column, and I'm going to do Command V if you're on a Mac, or Control V if you're on a PC. And now you can see that my formula is picking up that 4. If I go to May, it's not correct, so I can do again Command V, and now it's correct. June in, Command V. So just make sure you're in the right, all the green columns, and it's just alternating. So that's what you would do if you were going to add a row at the very, very top. And then you would go and do this with your outs as well. So make sure you start with your March out, making sure it's got all the cells highlighted, and then you're going to copy this. So Command C, and then my outs, Command V, and then I'm just going to go to all my out columns and then just make sure that I'm correcting that formula. If there's an easier way to do it, there could be. It's been like 15 years since I've really worked in spreadsheets, so I don't use them every day, but I used to build databases, shockingly. But now I've kind of forgotten how to do some stuff, and I don't want to make it super overcomplicated, but I think doing it this way might be a little extra work, but it's going to be correct. So that is how you do that. And if you were going to, for example, maybe we're now, it's 2024 and you want to keep going and using the spreadsheet, and you're like, well, is this the end? Can I not add any more columns? Yes, you can. So you would just go to your last column, you highlight the whole thing, you right click, and then you just go insert column to the right. And then you can go insert column to the right, and you can keep doing that. Once you've got like 2 free columns, you could just keep going, insert more columns, or because there's plenty of ways to do things in spreadsheets, you could, let me just delete these. You could basically highlight, you could also highlight all of these and then say insert 24 columns to the right, and you're going to have another year. And that's what you've done. So that's another way to do it, actually. Probably a better way to do it, but you can do it that way, and now you have another year of columns. I'm just going to delete what I just did, go Control Z. Okay. So I'm hoping that all makes sense. I'm going to take this one out because that's not what yours is going to look like when you get it. And I think you'll see that everything should be correct. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes, but that's how you do it. So only time you need to worry about this formula up here is if you're adding a row to the very, very above the first row, which is right now is banana leaf and bamboo. If you're adding it in the middle, you just want to make sure that that you're just pulling this formula from column C down. That would be the only thing you need to do. And I think that is it. I'm going to try to think if there's anything else I should mention. I mean, there's other things in spreadsheets you can do, but that's all I have for now. Let's just say you don't want to bother thinking about alphabetical order, but you want to alphabetize things after the fact, and you don't want to worry about changing formulas up, up here in row 3 and row 2 and row 3. You can just add things over here. Let's just say I do berry bright. You can add them to the bottom, and I'll show you another way to re-alphabetize everything. Berry bright. And I don't know, we're gonna go all in different directions here. Summer moonlight. Okay. So what you do here is you just, again, pull that formula down to, and it'll work, and you can test it. See, it works. And then let's say you want to, and then when you add things to the bottom, you will notice your drops down didn't go all the way down. So same thing, you could just copy it. You just pull on the corner cell of the one that has what you want, and pull it down and drag it. And then what you could do if you want to alphabetize it later is I will just highlight all the things that I want to alphabetize. I can't say that. Alphabetize. There we go. Everything. And you just want to make sure you highlight everything that you want to alphabetize. Why can't I say that word? And then, so it's all highlighted, and then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to say view more cell actions down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to do sort range, and I want to, so you can sort it by, like, if you do have Scentsy in vendor, you can sort it by column A. In this case, I want to sort it by column B, like the name of the bar. Again, depends on how you want to do it. So I'm going to do it by column B, and I want it A to Z. And then I'm just going to do sort. And you should find it in the right spot. Where did I add it? I think it was Berry Bright, and then the other one was Summer Moonlight, and there it is. And so, and I spelled it wrong. And I don't know what I'm doing. I can't type over my microphone here. And so that's how you do it. And that might be easier for you. And then that way you're not worrying about fixing these cells on top here. So that's another option. Maybe that's easier. It all depends on what sounds better for you, but that's another way to do it. But you just do want to make sure you're highlighting everything starting from row 4, not above, and that you're dragging all the way where you have information. So if this is like right now, you just drag it all the way until you have any other information that corresponds with that bar. Otherwise, you're going to really mess things up over here. So that is it. I'm sure that after I've recorded this, I'll remember something else, but I think that's enough just to show you my spreadsheet. And again, feel free to do what you want with it, change the colors, whatever. If you have any questions, I'll also add my Instagram, handle, I guess, is that what it's called? My Instagram handle. And you can direct message me there if you have any questions, or leave any questions below. Either way is fine. I don't always check Instagram. In fact, I'm kind of bad at it, but I will try checking it more often. But yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a question and I will get back to you. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this was helpful. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.